Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. So in this video I'm talking about whether you're allowed to ride your motorcycles during this lockdown, and is it the right thing to do? RevelatorAlf. So in the UK right now we're under lockdown because of the coronavirus, of course, and movement has been restricted. People are told to stay in their homes, quite rightly, to stop the or prevent the spread of infection and to protect the NHS. Now, various countries around the world are adopting similar processes, some more stringent, some less so right now, but this is an evolving picture. Now, one of the questions that's been asked time and time again is, can you ride motorcycles? And if so, what restrictions are there? Well, first of all, let's just make a distinction between a social mode of transport, because that's what a motorcycle use is. It's just a mode of transport here. And in this country right now, it hasn't specified what modes of transport are appropriate or not. Okay, so there is no law to define what mode of transport you can use. So it's for a social ride, then actually no social rides really should be undertaken because it's not essential forms of travel. Now, what they're saying is, and they have been saying for the last week or so since we've been on lockdown, is that you can only really leave your home for essential journeys, let's say to and from a place of work, or if you're still one of the essential workers, the key workers, for example, to the shops to buy food and or to buy medicines, or let's say if you have a medical issue. Now, obviously, if you're in the community, helping in the community as well, that would be classed as essential assistance as well. Now, when people are being told that they can actually leave their home for, let's say, exercise, well, really, what they mean is by walking, running, or cycling. That's what they've stipulated. Now, they, as in the government, of course, and quite rightly so. But people have been taking this grey area and actually using their vehicles, let's say motorcycles or cars more notably, to drive to a place and then do their exercise there, or drive somewhere and do their walking there, or walking their dogs there. The problem is it was never really stipulated in law that you cannot do that. So people have done that. Is it the right thing to do? No, because the essence is that you stay at home and you don't make these forms of travel unnecessarily. If you want to walk the dog or exercise, you do it from your home and then you walk around wherever it is. Also, people have been trying to get away with their camper vans or cars or motorcycles to isolated locations and go camping, for example. Again, that shouldn't be done because that's on the social side of things, and social mobility really is restricted. You shouldn't be doing it. Now, getting back to the original point, the mode of transport, in this case we're talking about a motorcycle. Can you use your motorcycle to make those essential journeys? Let's say to the shops, to get the chemist or the pharmacy, to get your medicine, for example, or from a place in work? Absolutely so. Yes, you can. There is nothing in there, nothing under law that anybody can say that you cannot ride your motorcycle. Now, you may wish to determine whether the use of a motorcycle is the most appropriate form of travel. Let's say if you have to go and do a big shop, for example, for your family, then clearly using a motorcycle might not be the best thing. You may need to use a car. But if you only need to pick up a few essential items, then might be the best thing. It really depends on the situation. There have already been complaints about the police who have been using overzealous tactics, has been reported in the media, about identifying people or stopping people or giving fines unnecessarily. And we've also had comments coming into this channel from people who are saying they've been stopped and by the police, and the police are saying that they should not be using a motorcycle even when it's essential forms of travel, because just in case they have an accident and a burden on the NHS. Whilst I'm sure they are well-intentioned remarks, actually this is them overstepping again, because they should not be saying that, because there is no restriction on a mode of transport. As right now, as I'm uploading and recording and uploading this video in the UK. Obviously, we've just got to bear in mind, it really depends what future restrictions come into place wherever you are in the world, and also what powers are then afforded to the police and to law enforcement in general, let's say. Even legal commentators have already started to remark on this point to say, actually, there is a rule of law, there is the enforcement of that law, and then there is people, or there are persons or agencies, law enforcement, let's say, who may be overstepping and interpreting this. So this is going to be a hot potato going forward, I'm sure. Now, many people are saying, well, actually, we shouldn't even be concerned about this. There's more important things to be discussing in the world. Obviously, the fight against coronavirus, and in this country, supporting our health and social welfare services as well. Absolutely right. And if you can obviously monitor your movement and restrict your movement and stay at home as much as possible and only go out for those essential journeys, absolutely right. And if you want to take the car instead of a motorcycle, for example, then do so by all means. Now, but if you're riding sensibly on a motorcycle, for example, and you are riding with lots of means, there's hardly any traffic on the roads as it is right now, there should be no reason why you should have any form of accident. Obviously, keep yourself well protected as much as possible, but any kind of accident that you have or may potentially have obviously puts an extra burden on the health services, on the emergency services, the frontline emergency services, and also the health system as a whole, was combating this coronavirus COVID-19. But, it's one of those things, you can have an accident anywhere, though. You could have an accident at home. So people are encouraged to do things at home, keep themselves active, but don't be reckless, and be very careful how you're doing things at home, and not to injure yourselves, because you may not be able to get to the hospitals, and you may not be able to receive that care that you need, but also you put an extra burden on the healthcare system as well, when it really doesn't need it right now. So anyway, bear this in mind, whatever decision that you make. But if you are not able to make any essential journeys, and unfortunately you cannot ride your motorcycle for any, because it will be a social journey. Now, if you are making an essential journey, let's say for food or for pharmacy or whatever, then there isn't a restriction to say where you can actually go. So if you need to go to a supermarket a couple of miles away and you want to use your motorcycle, then use your motorcycle. It's a mode of transport. Now you could use that very short journey just to get that relief, that easing of any mental stress that you may have, just by riding the motorcycle. If that's what it takes, then do it. But obviously you have to make that decision yourself. So right now there isn't a restriction, so you can find ways to ride motorcycles apart from using social journeys. You can't do that anymore, really, and we all have to be responsible in that regard. But essential journeys for food, for medical, and obviously all for essential places of work to and from, that's absolutely fine. So I wanted to bring that to you. You can ride motorcycles, but only for essential journeys, not for social journeys. That's the most key thing. And that's probably what the police are going to be trying to clamp down on, and making sure that people are not making social journeys in any mode of transport. But whilst they're doing that, they also need to focus their attention on people walking around and cycling, let's say especially in the cities, where still lots of people are too close to each other, especially when they're walking around on pavements as well. So whilst there might be attention on modes of transport in the sparsely populated areas, in the urban areas, that's where the big issue lies, and maybe that's where the focus of attention should be. But as I say, essential journeys, you can use a motorcycle right now, or any mode of transport. Non-essential social journeys, no, you should not be making at all. Okay, I hope that helps. I hope that clarifies a few things, but it's up to you. Just stay safe there. Stay indoors whenever you can. Please like, share, subscribe the video. Check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. Subscribe, click that bell if you wish, and I'll catch you on the next video coming very soon. Bye now.
RevelatorAlf.